Dear students, welcome to INSIGHT Academy once again. In today's class, we will start with Medieval India section of Indian history. And in this section, we will cover 11th class NCERT primarily, like we have done in ancient section of history. Of course, along with this 11th class old NCERT, we will cover the important concept from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th classes also. I'll pick up the points from old NCERTs as well as the new NCERTs. But the main focus of the class will remain on 11th class NCERT of Medieval India by Satish Chandra. As always, look at the chapters first. First chapter in this segment is India and the world. So what was the condition of India in early medieval age, 11th century, 12th century particularly? What kind of developments were going on in other parts of the world at that time? How the developments going on in Central Asia, in Afghanistan were affecting India? All those things will be covered here. Northern India, age of three empires. So again, this is early medieval part, 8th to 10th century. Chola Empire. This is about Imperial Cholas of Tanjore. So important points about them. Economic and social life, education, religious beliefs. The age of conflict. So this is primarily a transition period from ancient to medieval age. Or you can say this is primarily the early medieval age of Indian history. What were the regional kingdoms in India during early medieval age or during 750 to 1200 AD? This was the age of political fragmentation. Because there was no central authority in India during this age. When we see ancient India or the ancient Indian history and the medieval Indian history, what are the fundamental differences? Why do we call a particular phase as ancient India and why do we call other phase as medieval India? So that concept should be clear to you and then you can understand what was happening in this period. When we look at ancient age, or why do we call a particular period as ancient Indian history, or what was ancient Indian history? In this age, there was centralized political system. It means there was a powerful central authority. There was a secular political system. It means there was no discrimination among the people on the basis of their religion. It means this was the age of high degree of economic prosperity. Primary, secondary, tertiary activities were well developed. All these things changed during early medieval age. And what happened in this early medieval age was local political entities or local kingdoms came into existence. It means there was no central authority. Then we find here agriculture-based economy, secondary activities, that is industries and crafts, tertiary activities, that is trade and commerce, were not very well developed or were not very significant. We find here this was the age of invasions. India faced large number of invasions from northwestern side, particularly Turkish invasions. Who were these Turks? Why did they attack India? Who were the attackers? Actually, we'll see all those issues. And then when we come to the next phase, that is medieval history, here we find Islamic political system. So secular polity no more, this was Islamic state, not the Islamic state of today. The meaning is that the rulers were following Islamic principles or the Islamic law. Then you find here changes in culture, new form of architecture, new languages. Then you find here nature of his state also became a little different. It was a military state. It was a police state. Police state means a state that does not worry about welfare of people. So police state is not about police uniform. It's a concept in political system. Police state means a political entity that does not worry about welfare of people. Its main focus remains on collection of revenue and maintenance of order. So people should pay the taxes. People should not create trouble for the ruler. That kind of a state is police state. Military state means the existence, the survival of this political entity depends on superior military power. So a military state comes into existence on the basis of superior military power. It remains in existence till the time this military superiority is maintained. So when we see these kind of features, we name that particular phase as medieval history. When we see these kind of features, we say that ancient Indian history. And during early medieval age, there was a transition. There was a transition from these features to those features. So this 750 to 1200 AD period is also known as a transitional period. Transition means change from one state to other state, one condition to the other condition. So this was the age of regional kingdoms. What were these regional kingdoms? Just have a look. One very important kingdom was here, and the name was Hindu Shahi Kingdom. Capital of Hindu Shahi Kingdom was Kabul initially. So today's Afghanistan, parts of Pakistan were ruled by Hindu Shahis during early medieval age. This area, Delhi, parts of Rajasthan, parts of Punjab, was ruled by Chauhans. Or you say Delhi, Ajmer region was under Chauhan dynasty, Rajputs of Chauhan dynasty. Gangetic Valley was ruled by Gahadwalas. Gahadwala kingdom of Kannauj. Jaichand was the most infamous king of this dynasty. Another was here in parts of Gujarat, and Rajasthan. The name of this dynasty was Solanki dynasty. This dynasty was also known as Chalukya dynasty. In Indian history, you will come across at least 4 different Chalukyan dynasties. One example was seen in the previous classes, Pulkesin II of Chalukya dynasty. And this Chalukya dynasty was from Karnataka. Badami or Vatapi in Karnataka was the capital of Chalukyas, the dynasty to which Pulkesin II was associated. This was different. These are Rajput kingdoms. This is not the Chalukya of Vatapi, these are Rajput kingdoms of North India. Then this area here was ruled by Chalukyas of Vatapi. Same Chalukyas of Vatapi which I just referred to. And these Chalukyas of Vatapi were followed by Rashtrakutas of Manyakhet. Same Deccan, Manyakhet, also written as Malkhed, Malkhed. And this Rashtrakuta dynasty was replaced by Chalukyas once again, but Chalukyas of Kalyani. These are also known as later Chalukyas. Same family came back to power. Rashtrakutas came to power after overthrowing or replacing Chalukyas of Vatapi. Chalukyas once again came back to power by overthrowing Rashtrakutas, but this time the capital was Kalyani. So these 3, one after other, in this area, we'll see more details. And in this part of eastern side, we find Palas initially, and then they were replaced by Sena dynasty. Central India was ruled by Chandelas. Chandelas of Bundelkhand, very, very famous in history for Khajuraho temples. This side, Odisha side, was another minor dynasty, Ganga dynasty of Odisha. The kings of this dynasty constructed a number of magnificent temples in Odisha, such as the temple of Jagannath Puri, the temple of Konark, Sun temple of Konark, a Lingaraj temple located at Bhubaneswar. So all these kind of magnificent monuments were built by kings of Ganga dynasty of Odisha. When we come to South India further, we find Pallavas, try to link with the previous classes, replaced by Cholas. I told you dates also, Pallava dates in earlier classes, 300 to 850 AD, and Cholas were from 850 to 1267. Don't worry about dates, you have to just see the chronology, who came first and who came later, so that you develop a sense of history. History means chronological study. So this was the scenario in India during early medieval age. What were these regional kingdoms? Hindu Shahi kingdom, Chauhans of Delhi, Ajmer, Gahadwalas of Kannauj, Palas of Bengal, Bihar, then followed by Senas of Bengal, Bihar, Chalukyas of Vatapi, followed by Rajputas, then Chalukyas of Kalyani, Solankis of Gujarat or Chalukyas Gujarat, their capital was Anhilwada. Or WARA at times, Anhilwad. That was the capital. So, if you see a bit more details of these dynasties one by one. So, look at Hindu Shahis. Hindu Shahis were ruling in today's Afghanistan, parts of Punjab. Kabul was the capital. And this dynasty, the kings of this dynasty were known as the guardians of Indian defense, the protectors of Indian borders. So they were the guardians of Indian defense. India faced repeated invasions from northwestern side, Central Asia, and here if you see Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, those kind of countries are there even today. You should have the idea of map. Turks were coming from Central Asia, and these Turks started attacking India in 963 AD. First Turkish invasion was witnessed in 966 AD, 63 AD. And who faced this onslaught? That was Hindu Shahis. Then this person who attacked India for the first time, first Turk to attack India was Alptagin. He was followed by Subuktigin. And Subuktigin was father of Mahmud Ghaznavi. Mahmud Ghaznavi was son and successor of Subuktigin. He attacked India 17 times. He was coming here to plunder Indian temples, Indian resources. And his last invasion was against the temple of Somnath. The famous Shiva temple at Somnath was destroyed by him in around 1025 AD. So when Turks attacked Hindu Shahis, they were pushed into the interiors and they reached gradually up to Bhatinda. Bhatinda in the Indian side of Punjab was the last capital. Then if you look at the condition of other dynasties, so this you should remember, I'll need this piece here. The Chauhans of Delhi, Ajmer. Initial capital was Ajmer, then this had shifted towards Delhi. And then other kingdoms and dynasties will take up one by one. Similarly, we will see the details of the dynasties of peninsular India. Let us see more about Hindu Shahi dynasty. Jaipal was the most powerful king of this dynasty. This dynasty is famously known as the protectors of Indian borders or guardians of Indian borders, because they were the first to face the onslaught of Turkish invaders. Anybody coming from Central Asia was faced by them at first. Jaipal lost to Subuktigin, and here the loss was also very accidental. Jaipal was a very powerful king. He raised his army when Subuktigin attacked his kingdom, and when he was about to win, a very big or a massive avalanche broke out. A major part of Jaipal's army was killed by that avalanche. Subuktigin got the upper hand. He emerged victorious. Jaipal was captured. Jaipal had to sign peace. Jaipal challenged again, lost again. So Jaipal was the person who lost to Subuktigin. Jaipal was followed by his son Anandapala. And Anandapala was the king who fought against Mahmud Ghaznavi or Mahmud of Ghazni. Ghazni is a place in Afghanistan today. So his capital was Ghazni, that's why Ghaznavi or Mahmud of Ghazni, that's the name used. What was the impact of their defeat? Once Hindu Sahis lost, their defeat resulted in beginning of the process of conquest of India. So Turks were successful. Turks started pressurizing the rulers of interiors, and this process culminated ultimately in the establishment of Turkish rule in India in 1192 AD. Chauhans of Delhi Ajmer, early capital Ajmer, and later on they shifted capital to Delhi. So Delhi became their capital. That is why we say Chauhans of Delhi Ajmer. Delhi was founded in 8th century by Tomars. Original name of Delhi was Dillika. There was a village, a small village called Dillika, and from that name of the village, the modern name Delhi emerged. This modern name Delhi emerged in early medieval age. This Delhi was also known as Yoginipur in earlier times. So another name of Delhi was Yoginipur. Why was the Delhi taken up as capital? Because of its strategic significance. A strategic location of Delhi is responsible for the shifting of capital. Means by being in Delhi, the invaders coming from northwestern side could be countered easily, and if you remain in Ajmer, then these invaders capture the resources of Indian plains, they become more powerful. So invaders are coming from here, and if you are not here, they are coming from this side. Delhi would be somewhere here. Ajmer would be somewhere here. So capital was moved northwards so that these invaders could be tackled more easily before they gain control over Indian agricultural plains where resources are in plenty. Prithviraj Chauhan And this is Chauhan number 3 here. Prithviraj Chauhan number 3 was the king who fought against Muhammad Ghori in the battles of Tarain. Muhammad Ghori was defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan in the first battle of Tarain. First battle of Tarain was in 1191 AD. But next year in 1192 AD in second battle of Tarain, so name I'll write here, Tarain, near Karnal in today's Haryana. In the second battle of Tarain in 1192 AD, Prithviraj Chauhan lost to Muhammad Ghori. And one major reason of his loss was that Jaichand, the king Jaichand of Gahadwala dynasty, supported Muhammad Ghori. Jaichand's daughter was Sanyogita, and Sanyogita was in love with Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan married her forcibly, and that was not liked by her father Jaichand. That is why Jaichand supported Muhammad Ghori against Prithviraj Chauhan, and that small personal issue resulted in the Turkish conquest of India. So first battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori. Year was 1191. Muhammad Ghori came back again next year with more preparation. He got the support of Jaichand also, and now he defeated Prithviraj Chauhan. What happened to Prithviraj Chauhan? How was he killed, or how did he kill Muhammad Ghori? That's a matter of mythology. There is no definite, concrete answer to that. There are many stories in many different sources. Kannauj Gahadwalas. The Gahadwalas of Kannauj were ruling over this vast area. And Kannauj was a city of great significance. Kannauj gained significance in the age of Harshvardhan. It was the capital of Harshvardhan. Harshvardhan, if you recall, was from Thanesar. His father was the king of Thanesar. Thanesar is near Kurukshetra in Haryana. Harsha had shifted his capital to Kannauj. Kannauj was ruled by Mokris. All these things we have covered earlier. So in the age of Mokris or in the age of Harsha, Kannauj gained immense political significance. Kannauj was located in the heart of extensive fertile Gangetic plain. So there was vast agricultural land here. So people were rich, resources were plenty. Kannauj was having prestige because it was seat of power in the age of Harsha. So Kannauj was very popular city, very prominent city, and this Kannauj was the capital of Gahadwalas. Jaichand of Gahadwala, I told you, he supported enemies, and that's why Jaichand's name is often used to mean a traitor. He was a traitor. He supported Turkish invaders against Prithviraj Chauhan. So Gahadwalas of Kannauj were very powerful, but they contributed to the success of Turkish invaders, or they contributed to the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan, or you can say Indians, against Turks. Solankis of Gujarat, Rajasthan. The Solankis were also known as Chalukyas of Gujarat. Recall the capital which I told you in the beginning of the class. Capital of Solankis was Anhilwada. The period of Solankis is important because of temples of Mount Abu. Mount Abu is a place in today's Rajasthan, and a number of beautiful temples are located here. Most of these temples were built under the patronage of Solankis or Chalukyas of Gujarat. Dilwara temple is most famous, made of white marble. It's basically a big complex. So Solankis patronized temple building activities. Another prominent term or the important point that you need to see is that in the court of Kumarapala Chalukya, the king of this dynasty, a king, prominent king, there was a famous Jaina writer, Hemchandra. And he wrote a number of famous books such as Parishisht Parvana. Recall the class on Mauryan age. Chandragupta Maurya left his throne in favor of his son Bindusara. He moved to south along with Bhadrabahu. And that information comes from the book written by Hemchandra. The name is Parishisht Parvana. Kumarapala Chalukya repaired and rebuilt the temple of Somnath, which was destroyed by Mahmud Ghaznavi. And this king was in 12th century. Try to recall the period of invasions of Mahmud Ghaznavi. Mahmud Ghaznavi attacked India 17 times between 1080 to 1025. So that is, we can say, early part of 11th century. Kumarapala Chalukya rebuilt the temple. The present temple of Somnath was built due to the efforts of Sardar Patel after India's independence. Chandelas of Bundelkhand, they are famous for Khajuraho temples. And the most famous temple at Khajuraho is Kandriya Mahadev temple. We have seen in one of the previous classes that this Kandriya Mahadev temple is an example of Panchayatana temple. The main god here is God Shiva. Others are Parvati, Ganesh, Vishnu and Surya. Chandelas were great builders. So here these temples are famous in whole world for beautiful sculptures. Feminine sculpture, the sculptures depicting feminine or female beauty. They were also very powerful. They also fought against Turkish invaders. And the most prominent ruler here was Vidyadhar. Vidyadhar Chandel or Chandela, he fought against Mahmud Ghaznavi. They lost. Palas of Bengal, Bihar. Capital was Gaur, Zaur. Lakhnauti. Later on, Pandua. So Gaur was the capital, then the capital of this kingdom moved to other places. Palas are famous for the construction of Vikramshila University. So Vikramshila University was built by Pala King Dharampal. Another Pala king built Odantapur University. Both located in today's Bihar. Odantapur University built by Gopal, Vikramshila University built by Dharampal. Try to recall the name of another ancient Indian great university, Nalanda University. We have covered in one of the previous classes who was the founder of this university. Try to recall. Nalanda University was established by Gupta king Kumara Gupta first, and it was later supported by Harshvardhan. The famous Chinese traveler Huyen Chang studied in Nalanda University. So these were the prominent universities of early medieval age, and all these three were destroyed by Turkish invaders. Particularly the name of the person was Bakhtiyar. Bakhtiyar Khalji, Bakhtiyar Uddin Khalji. He destroyed these universities in around 1195, 96, 97. So somewhere between 1195 to 1200 AD, he conquered Bengal by defeating King Lakshman Sen. Lakshman Sen was the king of Sena dynasty. So Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji defeated Lakshman Sen. Lakshman Sen was a very famous king. He was a very powerful king. But Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji, he has a kind of typical history. This was a very short man of around 5 feet height. His legs were short, his hands were long. So he was Khilji. Khilji means he was a person from Afghanistan. Muhammad Ghori, who defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the battle of Tarain, or the second battle of Tarain, was the king of Afghanistan before he came and he conquered India. So Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji tried to enlist himself in the army of Muhammad Ghori, but Muhammad Ghori found himself unfit for military service. He said, your hands are too big, you can't hold the sword, your legs are too small, you can't ride the horse. So you are not a fit person for military. So to prove himself that he was a fit person, he raised a small number of soldiers with him. And he himself, when Muhammad Ghori was trying to conquer Gangetic Valley and he was kind of trying to hold on to the conquer areas of India, Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji reached Bengal. He entered the fort of Lakshman Sen with 18 soldiers. He disguised himself as a horse trader. So he told the guards of the fort that he is a horse trader and he has been invited by King Lakshman Sen to sell best the horses. The guards got befooled, they opened the gate and now he killed them, attacked suddenly. King Lakshman Sen was having food in his palace. He heard loud noise outside, and before he could do something, the attackers entered his palace and Lakshman Sen ran away. So that is how Bakhtiyaruddin Khilji conquered Bengal, Bihar. From Bengal he captured Bihar and he became famous in history. A man who was considered unfit for military service conquered a vast kingdom of Bengal, Bihar with just 18 soldiers. A remarkable phenomena. Chalukyas of Deccan. Now try to see issue of Deccan. Deccan means northern parts of peninsular India. The capital of Chalukyas was Vatapi. or Badami. Same place, two different names. Chalukyas of Gujarat were different. Chalukyas of Deccan were different. Their time period was from 535 to 753. Pulkesin II was the most powerful ruler. And Pulkesin II was so powerful that when Harshvardhan, the ruler of whole of North India, tried to cross river Narmada, Narmada means somewhere here, into south, he was defeated by Pulkesin II. This information we get from Aihole inscription. Recall the name, we have covered the point earlier. Aihole inscription of Ravikirti. Ravikirti was court poet of Pulkesin II. So Chalukyan dynasty was founded by Jayasimha. He was founder. Pulkesin II was the most powerful king. The last king was Kirtivarman. So founders, capital, most powerful king, some achievements, those things you need to remember. These Chalukyas are famous in history for having Iskandavaras. Iskandavara means military camp acting as a temporary or mobile capital. So whenever the king used to be outside his capital, away from his capital on a military campaign, his military camp used to function as a temporary capital, and these temporary capitals or these camps were known as Skandavaras. That point you need to remember. Pulkesin II himself was defeated by Pallava king. Again, a repetition of earlier point. Try to recall. Narasimha Varmana II. Not second, first. Narasimha Varmana first. So Narasimha Varmana first, also known as Vatapi Konda. Vatapi was the capital of Chalukyas. Konda means conqueror, Konda. So Narasimha Varmana first defeated Pulkesin II. It means as we move into the south, we find more and more powerful rulers. So that was the typical nature of Indian early medieval age. Rashtrakutas were under Chalukyas, or they were subordinate rulers of Chalukyas initially. Founder of Rashtrakuta dynasty was Danti Durga, very important name. Danti Durga. Danti Durga was the founder of this dynasty. Danti Durga had played an important role in success of Indian alliance against Arabs. There was Chalukyan king Vikramaditya, second, not first, second. So as I told you, Rajputas were under Chalukya's powerful king, or the main power that time was Vikramaditya II. He was the king of Chalukyan dynasty. He was heading Indian alliance against Arabs. The Arabs, if you'll see here on the map, Arabs had captured Sindh in 712 AD. This part was Sindh. The person who conquered Sindh was Muhammad bin Qasim, very important name. Muhammad bin Qasim defeated Raja Dahir of Sindh. Dahir was also very powerful. He got the information that Arabs are coming. He defeated them repeatedly. But on this occasion, he said, Arabs are too weak. I can defeat them anytime. Let them come to my capital. So he kept on waiting in his capital. Muhammad bin Qasim had come with great preparation. He defeated Dahir, captured him, killed him, and Sindh was captured in this way. From Sindh, these Arabs tried to enter India, deeper parts of India. And in 738 AD, Battle of Rajasthan was fought. In this Battle of Rajasthan, Indian alliance was headed by Chalukyan king Vikramaditya. Danti Durga was under him, so Danti Durga played an important role. After the death of Vikramaditya, the Chalukyas became weak. Danti Durga declared his independence. His capital was Manyakhet. He performed a sacrifice. Sacrifice means you can say Havan or Yag. And the name of this sacrifice was Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya Garbha. Hiranyagarbha sacrifice means a sacrifice or a kind of yag in which gold is offered to god fire or gold is put in fire. In this sacrifice, Pratiharas or Gurjara Pratiharas, the king of Gurjara Pratihara dynasty, acted as doorkeeper. Again, very important dynasty. They were the kings of Rajasthan. Capital was Bhinmal prior to Chalukyas. So before Chalukyas Gujarat, this area of Western India was ruled by Gurjara Pratiharas. The dynasty also you have to see simultaneously. Founder of dynasty was Nagabhatta. At times the terms come like real founder and the founder. Nagabhatta first was real founder. Actual founder was Nanuka. So what is the meaning of real founder? Founder, you'll come across these terms again. Founder means somebody who starts the dynasty, the first ruler of dynasty. Think of Guptas. The founder of Gupta dynasty was Sri Gupta. Real founder was Chandragupta first. Real founder means somebody who makes this dynasty so powerful that it never faces any difficulty, any major challenge to its existence. So Guptas of Patliputra or Imperial Guptas, founder was Sri Gupta, real founder was Chandragupta first. Chalukyas of Badami, founder was Nanuka, real founder was Nagbhat first. Gurjar Pratiharas, founder was Nanuka, real founder was Nagbhat first. Chalukyas, founder was Jaisimha and real founder was Pulkesin first. Same Pulkesin but first. So keep on adding more and more points gradually. It's all about connecting the dots to make a complete cohesive picture. So Dantidurga founded this dynasty by overthrowing Chalukyas, and this dynasty lasted till 973 AD. In 973 AD, the last king was Kirk II, and he was overthrown by his subordinate, his kind of feudatory or somebody who was under his rule, Talpa, Tailapa, Talpa II, and this Talpa II founded the Chalukya dynasty of Kalyani. So this link you should develop here, how they were Chalukyas of Vatapi replaced by Rashtrakutas, replaced by Chalukyas of Kalyani. This was happening in Deccan. Tripartite struggle shaped Indian history in a major way during early medieval age. This was a struggle for Kannauj. All the three, as the name suggests, three main dynasties were trying to capture Kannauj. And what were these dynasties? Palas of Bengal, Bihar, Rashtrakutas of Deccan, and Gurjara Pratiharas of Rajasthan. So all these three dynasties were trying to capture Kannauj to enhance their power and prestige. They fought with each other for more than 100 years. Look at the map here. Gurjara Pratiharas, Palas, and Rashtrakutas all were trying to capture Kannauj to enhance their power and prestige. If you move into the south of Deccan or South India typically, Cholas overthrew Pallavas. As I told you, Pallavas were from 300 AD to 850 AD. And last Pallava king was overthrown by his Chola feudatory. Feudatory means subordinate ruler, like the boss and somebody under him, a smaller ruler. So Vijayalaya was from Chola family. He established his independent kingdom with capital at Tanjore in 850 AD by overthrowing Pallavas. The greatest ruler of Imperial Chola dynasty was Raj first. He conquered Southeast Asia, Java, Sumatra, Cambodia, Maldives. So he carried the power of Cholas to far-flung areas. This helped in the spread of Indian culture, Indian religion, Indian languages. These were Tamilians, Tamil people. And that is why we find in Singapore, Malaysia, Maldives, and all these countries a large Tamil population even today. The link is here. Rajendra I was son and successor of Rajaraj I. He had attacked North India, and this army of Rajendra I defeated Pala king Mahipala. Recall Pala dynasty. King was Mahipala or Mahipal. So Pala king Mahipala was defeated by the army of Rajendra I. Rajendra I himself did not come to attack North India. He sent his army under his commander, and that army defeated Pala king Mahipala. This victorious Chola army carried water from river Ganges, and in the memory of that conquest, he established a new capital, Gangai Konda, Cholapuram. Gangai Konda means conqueror, Cholapuram Before that, capital was Tanjore. Tanjore is famous for a massive temple, and this temple dedicated to God Shiva is Brihadeshwara temple. This Brihadeshwara temple was built by Raj first. This temple is so big that 27 Taj Mahals can be put inside it. It's a massive temple. Temple of Dravidian style. Cholas are famous in history for their navy, so naval power. This naval power was used by Cholas to conquer Sri Lanka. In Sangam age also Cholas conquered Sri Lanka, and here in early medieval age also Cholas conquered Sri Lanka. Raja first conquered northern Sri Lanka, and the remaining parts of Sri Lanka were conquered by his son and successor Rajendra first. Again, that's why we have a large Tamil population in Sri Lanka. Northern Sri Lanka is dominated by Tamilians, and that is why we have Tamilian versus Sinhalese conflict. LTTE was representing the cause of Tamilians. Cultural developments in early medieval age. We find writers like Raj Shekhar, in early medieval age. He lived in the court of King Mahendrapala, and this Mahendrapala was not a Pala king, this was Gurjara Pratihara king. So just by having the look name Pala, you should not get confused. This is Pala king. Every person whose name was having the suffix Pala was not a Pala king. Rasekar is famous for his books like Karpura Manjari. Bal Ramayana, Bal Bharat, the greatest writers of early medieval age. Then we have here Vesara, a style of architecture in Deccan. We have the Dravidian style of architecture in south. Brahmanical rituals and ceremonies or sacrifices were performed by the kings of this age. And one major sacrifice also that you need to see here at Mount Abu. Recall the name Mount Abu came somewhere. Temples of Mount Abu, and Mount Abu is also famous for one major sacrifice. According to Chandarbardai, Chandarbardai was court poet Chandarbardai. He was court poet of Prithviraj Chauhan, Prithviraj Chauhan III, the king who lost to Muhammad Ghori in 1192, the king who had defeated Muhammad Ghori in 1191 in first battle of Tarain. He wrote a book titled Prithviraj Raso. Raso means a story of Prithviraj Chauhan. So in the book written by Chandarbardai with the name Prithviraj Raso, it is mentioned that a sacrifice was performed by Vasisht at Mount Abu, and from the fire of the sacrifice, 4 Rajput dynasties, 4 Rajput families, or the founders of 4 Rajput families emerged. So fire was on, Vasisht was chanting mantras, offering things to God fire, and he says that 4 people came out of fire. Now 4 people might have not come out of fire. Indicatively, symbolically, we can understand that this ritual was used to Indianize, to purify these people. Okay, they were outsiders initially, they were not part of Indian culture, and now through this sacrifice, by putting some sacred water onto them, they were declared as pure or Indian. That is the Agnikula tradition, Pratiharas, Chauhans, Parmars and Solankis. So Pratiharas, Parmars, Chauhans, Solanki, these four families' name you have to remember. These are often termed as Agnikula families among Rajputs. Information comes from Prithviraj Raso, the book written by Chandrapardai. So all these things you have to keep connecting point by point, and then you'll have a bigger story, and that story will help you in remembering history in simple language. Such kind of temples were built during early medieval age. Kailashnath temple, Kanchipuram, this was built under the patronage of Pallavas of Kanchipuram. Then there were different parts of this temple here. This early medieval age also witnessed arrival of Sufis. Sufis came from Persia. Along with Muhammad Ghori. So when Muhammad Ghori attacked India, many Sufi saints came to India along with these Turkish invaders. The first was the founder of Chishti sect. Person was Muinuddin, M-U-I-N. Muinuddin Chishti. He was the first among the Sufi saints to come to India. He was the founder of Chishti sect. Like Ajmer Dargah is famous for Muinuddin Chishti's a resting place. Muinuddin Chishti was buried there. Bhakti saints were like Kabir, Ramanand, recall Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya was the person who brought the seeds or the concept of bhakti from south to north. This was popularized by Ramanand, and he was having 12 disciples. Ramanand was having 12 disciples. One of them was Kabir. Ravidas was another. Dhanna, Pipa, and all these 12 disciples popularized bhakti in North India. Bhakti or Sufi, they were simple. They propagated the idea that God is one and that God can be reached by following many different paths. Some were Saguna Bhakti, means they believed in idol worship. Some others like Kabir were Nirguna Bhakti, they believed in non-idol worship or they were against idol worship. So Sufis and Bhaktis were representing a liberal form of religion so that people can come out of their sufferings and they can lead a good life. Establishment of Turkish rule. Connecting from the beginning of the class once again, 1192 was the year. Second Battle of Tarain took place. Tarain is a place in Haryana of today near Karnal. Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan, and he was the founder. He established Turkish rule in India. He was from Gur, somewhere here. Ghazni, somewhere here. Mahmud of Ghazni, Muhammad of Gur. Muhammad Ghori tried to conquer India initially through Gujarat, failed, then he reached through Punjab and succeeded. Sorry, these are not the right locations. Gur and Ghazni both in Afghanistan, and this is Afghanistan. So initially he tried to conquer through Sindh and Gujarat. He failed because of desert area here. He could not carry large army. Then he came from Punjab side and he was ultimately successful. So this success paved the way for the establishment of Turkish rule. He conquered Kannauj also in 1194 by defeating Chechand in the Battle of Chandwar. And Bakhtiyar Khalji reached Bengal, Bihar. He captured Bengal, Bihar by defeating Sena dynasty, Lakshman Sen of Sena dynasty. He was not defeated, but Lakshman Sen ran away. Bakhtiyar Khalji found throne was empty. More details we'll see in the next class. So read your NCERT, all these chapters. Try to connect the points of class with the details given in book. Note down main points from the book. Integrate both class and the points you note down from the NCERT. Keep revising them repeatedly. Keep revising them till the time you don't remember everything on your fingertips. And once you remember everything, history would be easy. Preparing for civil services would be very, very easy for you. So if you find any difficulty, reach me through teacher support. Keep revising, keep moving ahead. All the best. God bless you.